The music stopped, not the sound of the instruments, but the heartbeat of 50,000 hearts. On stage, under the spotlight that followed him like a lighthouse in the darkness, Michael Jackson raised his hand. He wasn't preparing for the next dance move or the vocal that was to come. The show of his life, the perfect spectacle, had been interrupted. And the reason? A single, lonely, and desperate cry that echoed amidst the symphony of joy. The crowd, which was in a state of ecstasy just minutes before, was now in a frightening silence. All eyes, from 50,000 fans, turned to the same spot Michael was looking at, the front row. There, crushed by the crowd's pressure and the weight of a particular sadness, a little girl named Lara, only 9 years old, was crying uncontrollably. Her tears weren't of joy, but of despair. Her parents, who had brought her as a surprise, were now trying in vain to comfort her. This was the show of her life, and she was suffocating, lost, in a panic. What Michael did next wasn't rehearsed. It was human. And it would change her life and the lives of everyone who witnessed that moment forever. Michael, with a look of concern etched on his face, pointed to the girl. The security team, initially confused, understood the silent command. They made a path between the barrier and the stage. The crowd, which seconds earlier was singing at the top of their lungs, now cowered in a respectful silence. The only sound was Lara's crying, who felt exposed, her private pain becoming a public spectacle. Michael gestured again, this time for the girl to come on to the stage. She hesitated, terrified and ashamed. Her parents encouraged her, but her fear was greater than her will. Seeing her reluctance, Michael walked down the steps and approached the barrier. A few feet from Lara, the king of pop knelt. He was no longer on his throne of light, but on the cold ground, at the same level as a child in pain. His gaze was one of pure compassion. Lara's tears intensified, now out of astonishment. He held out his hand to her, not as an idol, but as a friend. "It's okay," he said, in a soft voice. "You can come." That moment of vulnerability, of a legendary man stooping down for a wounded soul, was the turning point. The tension was palpable. The crowd, previously in shock, was now holding its breath. Lara hesitantly grabbed Michael's outstretched hand. He helped her onto the stage. The crowd let out a collective sigh. At the center of the stage, under everyone's focus, Michael knelt again, and with a gesture of pure affection, wrapped her in a hug. And it was there that the miracle happened. Lara stopped crying. The warmth of that hug, the security of that moment was like a balm for her wounded soul. Michael whispered something in her ear, something that only the two of them would know. A shy and then genuine smile blossomed on Lara's lips. The crowd, which had remained in a shocked silence, now began to cry. The tears were not of sadness, but of an overwhelming emotion. It was proof that empathy, genuine love, has the power to heal. Michael held her for a few seconds, kissed her forehead, and handed her back to her parents. He watched her walk away with a smile, her small figure overflowing with new joy. In that moment, Michael was not just the king of pop, he was an angel of compassion. The show had been interrupted, but a hymn of love and humanity had been sung. The lesson of that night was not about the grandeur of a show, but about the grandeur of a gesture. That moment showed us that true strength is not about being the greatest in the world, but about having the gentlest heart. True greatness is revealed not when we are at the top, but when we stoop to help someone who is at the bottom of the well. Michael Jackson, the global icon, stopped everything to heal the heart of a single child. He taught us that every life matters, that every cry deserves to be heard, and that compassion is the most beautiful melody of all. As it says in John 15:13, "Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends." On that stage, Michael did not lay down his life, but he gave his time, his attention, and above all, his heart to a stranger, transforming her sadness into joy and that of thousands into hope. The show continued, but the audience never saw it the same way again. They saw a man who, despite all his success, never lost his connection to what is most important, humanity. And Lara's story became a legend, a living reminder that love can work miracles.